Jonesy and Amanda.
Jam Nation.
When Old People's Home for 4-year-olds aired on the ABC, so many tears. We were all moved by the positive impact those adorable toddlers had on the seniors. Then in a global first, they decided to try the same concept but with teenagers. Season 1 of Old People's Home for Teenagers was such a success, they've decided to bring it back with a new season that starts tonight. Here to explain more is dedicated youth worker, teacher, facilitator of the program, Will de Lima. Hello.
Hey guys, how are you?
Great. Usually they would say old people and teens should never mix.
Yeah, I know, right?
So,
Turning the tide here.
so tell us about some of these benefits. What's the dynamic when these two groups get together?
I think it's a really interesting dynamic in that I think that it's really tapping into a lot of the issues and challenges that both these cohorts face in society. I mean, things around social isolation, loneliness, a lack of connection. I mean, these are things that I've seen in my own work. So I think part of this experiment is really trying to tap into that and to explore how these interactions and these connections, how they can have a positive impact on the mental health and the well-being of both the teens and the older adults that are involved in the show.
Because I was interested to read that loneliness affects 1 in 3 seniors, but for teens it's 1 in 2. So there's a lot of commonality actually here.
There is, yeah. There's a lot. I mean, my role in terms of my professional work, it's mostly working with young people. I've had some experience working with older adults in mentoring programs, but I mean, speaking for young people in terms of what I've seen, especially over the past 10 years, there's a lot of issues around loneliness and social isolation, and especially coming out of COVID. You know, I think it's multifaceted. There's not one reason that really leads to that, but I do feel like the show is tapping into a part of that, which is about human connections and meaningful interactions.
How did you go about casting the teens?
Yeah, good question. So I know from the first series that in terms of the teens, they focused on schools that were in North Sydney. And this time around, they focused on teens. They went to schools out in Western Sydney, so around the Parramatta area. So as far as I know, the production crew, they went out to high schools. They were out west. They interviewed a whole bunch of teens, and they kind of went from there. In terms of the seniors, they focused on a retirement village. It was also based out west, so near North Rhine, I believe. The name escapes me. And, I mean, again, they interviewed a lot of seniors, and they picked out 10 from each.
Ageism is a big issue for seniors, for whether you're in an old person's home or not. How young people perceive you can be really upsetting. Was this able to shift the perception of old people for a lot of these teens?
I mean, definitely. From my experience of knowing the teens and just seeing their experiences on the show, I know that for a lot of them, they didn't have that connection with an older adult. And that's part of the reason why they were selected. There was a lot of stereotypes and a lot of, I guess, self-judgment that was brought to the show before it aired for both parties. So I think for both parties, not only the teens, but also the seniors, it was challenging a lot of the stereotypes and the preconceived notions that they had about the different generations. And I think that's really the beauty of the show, is that it's tapping into that and really challenging these mindsets that people develop around different generations.
And really, every generation blames the one before. I know I'm paraphrasing Mike and the Mechanics here. But really, look to the teachings of Mike and the Mechanics. Surely in this will. Surely. Well, it sounds great. Old People's Home for Teenagers Season 2 premieres tonight, 8:30 on ABC TV and ABC iView. Will, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.